It's a very good evening and welcome to Network. My name is Spumelele Zondi. Tonight we have information about an African-developed phone called Mi-Fone. It will launch in South Africa this week. There's information about Mavros, a digital currency used in the M scheme. We meet University of Johannesburg computer science students who won a competition recently. Our discussion is on the cases against Vodacom. They've been asked to pay their former employee for an idea he developed during his time at the company. Find us on SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. It's News Network at sabc.co.za and email. Let's start with your technology and social media news. Most phone brands launching in the South African market aren't from the continent. Mi-Fone says it is a pan-African brand. Its founder was born in Uganda and has managed to launch the phone in 12 countries. Mi-Fone launches in South Africa this week. Mi-Fone is returning to the South African market this week. It first arrived in 2010, lasted 2 years and pulled back. But it's had considerable success in the rest of the African continent.
The big brands are doing some really good things, but they're also missing out on a lot. So we developed a mass market consumer brand called Mi-Fone, first African devices brand.
Founded in 2008, Mi-Fone is now available in 12 African countries, including Kenya, Uganda and Nigeria.
We're probably one of the first tech startups in Africa, going back to 2008, hardware tech, self-funded. We're in about 12 countries now. We were in more, but we cut back, but we are in 12 African countries today.
Mi-Fone devices are targeting consumers who want entry-level smartphones and will sell at about 2,000 Rand. In South Africa, they will be available exclusively on takealot.com for now. They are on conga.com in Nigeria. M has been in the news recently following questions surrounding the legality of the scheme. However, most of the people in the scheme are convinced that it is the answer to their financial problems. But how exactly does this money grow?
Virtual currency is defined as a type of unregulated digital money. It is only used online and often controlled by its developers. This is a kind of money that M is using. So when you want to be part of M scheme, you get a virtual currency called Mavros.
They decided at some point to change to their own virtual currency, which they called Mavros. By my understanding, the reasoning that they did that is because Bitcoins are governed by their own kind of mechanisms, and there's a bit of volatility in terms of currency and value.
When you put money in the M system, the system then generates Mavros for you. Over a 30-day period, you are promised to get your money back and interest in form of Mavros. The interest is converted to 30% of the initial money you put in the system, and you can then exchange the digital currency in real money, in this case South African rands. Experts say this method is not sustainable as virtual currency has no connection to the real economy.
What it does is it promises ridiculous returns or unfeasible returns. And in many cases, as in this case, it seems like there's no underlying business. So it's not like, somebody is selling this piece of paper to that person and they'll generate a return. All it is transferring money from one person to another person. And there's no underlying business that would sustain any actual return.
Generally, people have limited knowledge of virtual currency and are warned when trading with them. We also know that M scheme is now being investigated by South African authorities.
4 University of Johannesburg students have won a local leg of an international competition with their system that aims to tackle tender corruption and fraud. It allows bidding companies to view the progress of their tender bids online. They can also see how they were graded and what the winning bid did right.
We have 4 users of the system, so the ordinary visitor that can view project, the subject matter expert, the government agency that wants to add the project, and the contractor that wants to place bid on this project. So as a government agent, you can just add projects. So we use a targeted advertisement. So immediately these projects are added. Since we maintain a central database of suppliers, the suppliers are alerted immediately that a project has been added that you might be interested in. Then after that, these contractors now place bids on this project, and once the project is closed, then is automatically the subject matter expert who is chosen at random among also a subject matter expert database is alerted that, okay, you need to evaluate this project. So this subject matter expert views this project, views the bids on it, now, does his research, and now decides on, okay, what's the minimum amount this project should cost. So he sets the minimum amount, then the government person that posted the project is alerted that, okay, this project has been evaluated by the subject matter expert. So he now needs to use the information from the subject matter expert, also use a graphical representation of, so we display a graphical representation of what the subject matter expert selected as the price. So we could have like 2 subject matter experts setting a reference amount for this project. Then you also see a distribution of all the bids, that you can now make an informed decision using all those figures on what you think should be the price of this project. Then using that price, you now click the evaluate button. Then that's where the core algorithm comes in. So our evaluation process is divided into 3 categories. So the financial amount, the technical amount, the technical rating, and the security rating. So the security rating works in a way that we believe that a company that has directors that are not financially reliable shouldn't be, you shouldn't trust them with a high amount of project. So we take every company that makes a bid for this project, get all their directors, so match it against, because we've created like a mock CIPC and TransUnion database. So we use the directors belonging to these companies, match them to TransUnion to see their financial rating, see how financially responsible they are. So that counts towards the security rating. So I also believe that one director can belong to multiple companies. So if you've committed a fraud with one company and you've decided to open a new company thinking that you don't keep record of, so we also make reference to other companies you might belong to. So all those things add up to your security rating. Then your technical rating is mainly, as I mentioned initially, we monitor, we also manage the post-tender stage. So after this project has been awarded to you, you don't just go and say, okay, I can actually do as I want since I've been awarded this project. So we use the rating the government gives you after you've done this project for them for subsequent projects you bid on. So the security rating, the technical rating takes in consideration of your rating and also your past experience and your years of experience on this project. Then the financial rating uses the South Africa's preferential pricing, which is the 80-20 and the 90-10 bidding evaluation criteria. So using the reference amount set by the subject matter expert, we're able to score you based on the algorithm. So like the 90-10, as you know, is it's the 10 counts for your BE rating, and 20, and the 80-20, the 20 is your BE rating depending on the price of the project.
iPhone shipments have dropped in China, and University of Florida is testing brain control drones. This is what's been taking place in the rest of the tech space.
Sad news for Apple Inc. earlier this week as the company's sales dropped by more than a quarter in China, its most important market after the United States. And it also forecast another disappointing quarter for global revenues.
It looks to me like several issues coming together at the same time, right? One is market saturation. More and more people have a smartphone, although it would seem there's still plenty of room to run among affluent buyers in emerging markets. Europe, if they could convert more of those Android buyers, would seem like an opportunity as well.
Now heading off to China, where the RoboCup kicked off in the last week. The 2016 RoboCup kicked off its China tourney with almost 300 teams in soccer and other contests underway in Hefei of China's Anhui province. Spectators were entertained with a soccer game between robots and human beings on the first day.
The communication among robots is faster than among human beings because we human beings need to communicate with our eyes and bodies apart from our languages. Robots act differently on their own decisions. They move to positions for scoring or defending.
15 teams will qualify from the China tourney for this year's RoboCup finals to be held in Germany in June. Speaking of Germany, the European country also had its time with robots earlier this week with the opening of the world's leading trade fair for industrial technology, Hannover Messe, on Monday in the port city of Hanover, Germany, with robots being in the spotlight.
There is so many automation inside the robot that he is learning how you play. So if you are playing fast, the robot will do the same. So he's learning all the time what you are doing. And he is showing also on the table where he wants to play, where the ball has to go.
Meanwhile, the University of Florida in the USA tested a technology that enables people to control drones with their minds. Using headsets that measure electrical activity in the brain, 16 competitors used their power of concentration to move the drones down a 9-meter-long course.
You start thinking and you start hearing that motor pick up, and it kind of like kicks you into like a different mental state.
The technology is called Brain-Computer Interface, or BCI.
Robots and drones taking over everywhere. It's SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. After the break, we discuss Makate versus Vodacom. Stay with us.
The lives, the souls, the OMG of the party, in all their glorious, glory. Ah, yes. We salute you, party comrade, with a bottle of 3 Ships whiskey for just $119.99 from Tops at Spa.
It is News Network at sabc.co.za and email newsnetwork@sabc.co.za and email. Thank you very much for joining us. Former Vodacom employee Nkosana Makate has had quite a week. He is the chap who came up with the Please Call Me idea when he was working for Vodacom. A court judgment said he needs to be given due credit for his idea and be compensated for it, as Vodacom has made billions from it. There were also stern words for CEO Eleanor Craig for lying and claiming the idea as his own.
The judgment is a landmark victory for Makate. Makate, who wanted the company to compensate him for his invention, was involved in a 9-year legal battle with Vodacom. He's happy the Concord has vindicated him and says he knew all along that he had a strong case against Vodacom.
It's just a relief for me, It's 16 years down the line, 8 years in trial, 9 years. And for me, it's just a relief. I'm just happy that we're now at the end of this journey.
What kept you going throughout these 8 years?
It's faith. I never really lost faith that I'll win this case. I think that really kept me going, even when in times where I lost hope or I felt a bit despondent.
Handing down judgment, Justice Chris Jafta described as dishonest attempts by former Vodacom CEO Alan Craig to take credit for the idea. The judge said it was unethical for Vodacom to attempt to not compensate Makate for his invention.
The stance taken by Vodacom in this matter was unfortunate. Having admitted that it had used Mr. Makate's idea to develop the Please Call Me service, it was not ethical for Vodacom to refuse to compensate him. What compounds the matter is the fact that Vodacom entered into a contract with him under which it now sought to avoid liability by raising technical defenses. Vodacom's conduct in this case leaves a sour taste in the mouth.
In a statement that it is currently studying the verdict, the cell phone giant now has to negotiate with Makate about compensation for his multi-billion rand idea.
Now, joining us in studio to talk about that case and another pending case against Vodacom is Stefan Mohape. He is the co-founder of iAfrican. Hello, and thank you for being a part of our network, sir.
Thank you.
Now, do you think Makate is going to get what he wants from Vodacom?
I doubt it. I think if you listen to what the High Court said was that they need to start negotiations with him. So this is still going to be, in my opinion, a long sort of cycle of back and forth and negotiations in terms of the valuation of what's due to him.
Why do you doubt that?
Look, they didn't want to acknowledge that it was his idea. So given that premise, I don't see them giving him the billions that he wants to claim from it.
But there's also another issue here, and those are issues of rights. Like, for example, that the Please Call Me has been taken up by Cell C, MTN, and other network providers. Do you think he might start going after them as well and start asking for money from them as well?
Let's look back at how this came about. He was working in a different department that wasn't responsible for products at Vodacom. And he approached his manager and he was promised that he would be credited and compensated for coming up with the idea, according to the case. And even as things have panned out, he hasn't been compensated and he had to go to court. So I think the case he has is against Vodacom. It's up to Vodacom now if they are going to go up against people like MTN and Cell C. But that again, is it a patented idea? Are they using the same methodologies?
Despite the fact that we now know that it was not Vodacom's idea, it was not Craig's idea, it was his idea.
Yeah, I think that's what's scathing about the judgment was especially on former Vodacom CEO Eleanor Craig. He's been called a liar by the judge, and yeah.
Do you think this happens a lot with companies, especially technology companies, which have all kinds of services in order to try and attract consumers to subscribe with them? Do you think they take ideas a lot from employees and not give due credit?
It depends. It depends on the contracts that the employees had. As I mentioned earlier now, Makate was in a different department that wasn't responsible for coming up with service or product ideas, and he was promised that he'd be compensated. So I think it's a contractual thing. So you might find that a person who works in a department that's responsible for product development or service development will come up with an idea, but the contract stipulates clearly that the credit belongs to the company. So it's a very complicated subject.
And now there's another case against Vodacom.
Yes.
What's going on there?
There's a company called Ndabenhle Enterprises. Now this is slightly different it's very different from what Makate went through. They're claiming that they pitched an idea for airtime advance. For those who are not aware, airtime advance is where prepaid customers can request credit for calling, from SMSs, for data from Vodacom, and then pay at a later stage with a little bit of interest on top. So they're claiming they pitched that idea to Vodacom, and Vodacom decided to run with it without compensating them.
And now this is a private company.
This is a private company.
So it's not someone who was, as it was with Makate's case, who was working for Vodacom.
No, it's a private company that says they pitched, and Vodacom, it's still not in court yet. It's still a pending case if it does get to court. So again, questions get asked: were the contracts signed before they pitched? Were there NDAs? Was there any promises made? So this is totally different from Makate.
It seems like Vodacom had rejected that idea.
From what Ndabenhle Enterprises say, yes, they hadn't rejected that idea, but then later decided to run with it.
And do you think now, because of the Makate outcome, do you think that Vodacom might want to have a discussion out of court?
I think from a PR and marketing perspective, they might do that, just to avoid the bad publicity. But it depends on how, the merits of the case. If they feel that Ndabenhle Enterprises don't have a leg to stand on, they might take their chances in court.
Airtime advance, you did mention what it is, but does Vodacom then get extra cash from that? Is that what he wants?
Yes, they do make money out of this. So they do charge interest. So let's say, for argument's sake, you request 5 rands. Airtime credit advance to you. I think you pay, when you repay it at something like 6 rands.
Is he also, does it want a portion of the money that Vodacom's made in the past, or is it also like going forward as well, where every time Vodacom makes money in future from airtime advance, is he thinking about that as well?
At the moment, it's not clear. They just want credit and to be compensated for that idea. They claim it's their idea.
How much do you think ideas like airtime advance and Please Call Me are worth to Vodacom?
Well, billions. It's been said that please call me, because there's ads that run with please call me. Every time you send a please call me, there's insurance ads, all sorts of advertisements that companies book. It's been said it can run into billions. So yeah, Makate stands to earn a lot, but also his backers stand to earn a lot of money.
Let's talk about that, because he hasn't been financing this himself.
Yes, I mean, this has been a business, this has been an investment. So at some point in the past, when the case was going on, a couple of investors approached him and they offered to do some due diligence on the case to see if they can put money to back him. So how the process works in a nutshell quickly is that they took up all the documents, everything, and they did some due diligence. They ascertained that they've got a good chance of winning the case. This is a couple of years back, 10 years or so back. They ascertained that they've got a good chance of winning the case, so they appointed them as investors, appointed some attorneys, some advocates to say, look at the case, do you think we can win it? Advocates, attorneys did their due diligence and they said, okay, we think we can win it. And they started to finance the whole process up until last week.
All right, Defo Mohapi from iAfrican, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
All right. Now, this week we caught up with Nigerian singer Shay Shay. She told us about her favorite piece of technology.
And baby, I would ride for you, slow wine for you. I would touch my tippy toes, I would bounce it for you.
Hey, what's up? My name is Shay Shay. I'm a musician and my favorite piece of technology is my NutriBullet. It is a little tiny blender that is about this big, and I put all my favorite fruits and vegetables and nuts and all kinds of things, yogurts, whatever I want inside it, press it down, and it blends a smoothie for me in under 6 seconds. How amazing is that? And it goes all around the world with me.
One other person has been shot dead and another is in a critical condition in hospital.
The CRL has laid charges against controversial televangelist Paseka Mutsoning.
More than 1.3 million South Africans have been added in the past 2 registration weekends.
The International Monetary Fund warns that policy uncertainty could dampen economic growth in South Africa.
And all eyes are on the new Bok coach, Alistair Coetzee, who's challenged to keep everyone in the country happy.
SABC Network on all social media, welcome back. Now, Casper Nyovest teamed up with AG Mobile in launching the AG hashtag, which is this smartphone right here. Producer Lebusi Jake had a go with the phone, and here's what she thinks.
So I finally got my hands on the AG hashtag, which is inspired by Casper Nyovest. As you can see, it's very red, and I'm guessing that's his favorite color.
Having used the AG hashtag for a couple of weeks, I must say it is an okay smartphone. The 5.5 high-definition display shows us that South African smartphone maker knows what is currently trending in the smartphone industry. This device runs on Android 5.1 Lollipop operating system that comes with already installed applications such as your WhatsApp, WeChat and BBM. However, the one app that is exclusive to this particular Android device is the Casper Nyovest app, which shows the South African rapper's performance schedule and music videos, and this might be a plus for fans of the artist who played a pivotal role in the design of the phone. Its 13 megapixel back and 5 megapixel front cameras take good photos for those that aren't serious photographers, otherwise known as phone photographers. The AG hashtag has MediaTek 1.5 GHz octa-core processor with 2 GB of RAM and 16 GB of expandable internal storage, and lastly, a 2500 mAh battery. It sells for about 3,500 Rand in cash, which I think is pretty reasonable.
Overall, I would say that this phone would be very appealing to a younger market, maybe your teens or your early 20s. as it does have a lot of Casper Nyovest in it, and he is, I think, a lot of young ones' favorite rapper in the country at the moment.
It is very red. Here's what some people have been sharing on social media.
Suit and ties, they all got a money and evil smile.
People on Twitter in South Africa have been excited after rapper Nasty C said he received a call from American label Rock Nation. Rock Nation was founded by rapper Jay-Z. Nasty C's real name is David Junior Ngobo, and he is 19 years old. He is known for his hit song Hell No, which is playing in the background.
And I'm the jiggy jigger, yeah, I'm on it. There's not a thing I hate more than
Today is Workers' Day, May Day or Labor Day all over the world. It's been trending in different countries. There have been rallies and protests all over the world. The manifesto of the economic freedom fighters has also been a big topic on social media. The 3-year-old South African political party held its events in Soweto outside Johannesburg.
dead silent, someone get the bodies get.
And that's all we have for you. Find us on SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. News Network at sabc.co.za and email. We leave you with a trending video of a 4-year-old who is telling her father that she wants a boyfriend. From me and the rest of the team, have a good one.
Why can I not get a boyfriend?
Because I'm not letting you get a boyfriend.
Why not?
Because you're not getting one.
Dad, I can get a boyfriend if I want to get a boyfriend.
Daddy will break his legs.
No!
Yes, I will.
Dad,
And guess what will happen after that?
What?
See, your boyfriend's daddy. Daddy will take him hostage and keep him in a cupboard.
Dad, listen, I want a boyfriend. I want a boyfriend. I'm getting a boyfriend.
You're not getting a boyfriend, you're going to be a nun. You're going to be a nun. You're going to work for Jesus.
No, I'm going to get a boyfriend.
They're who you're going to work for. They're who you're going to work for. End of story.
All right, bye-bye.